Hello, and welcome to Thank God It's Friday. I'm Elaine and I'm here with co-host Jenny, and it's great to be with you tonight on this, our first night of launch. We have got an amazing show for you. Tonight it's all about our wonderful town of Wallasey and its fantastic people. We'll be hearing from people on the street, the voice of Wallasey, and we'll be talking to two of Wallasey's incredible community connectors. But before we get started, I just want to assure you that we are COVID secure here in our studio. Between me and Jen, we've got this massive Perspex screen to protect us. And everyone behind the scenes has the same setup, or they're in separate rooms.
And tonight we've also got drama, music and laughter, as well as amazing facts about Wallasey. Because TGIF, it's all about the positive things in life, which is so important, especially when we're in lockdown. We have a dream team bringing you the show tonight, as well as me and Elaine. We have Positive Pete managing our comments, Mark, our soundy on audio, and Alex, our producer.
And we're excited about spending this time with you. But you, our lovely viewers, are vital to the success of our show. We need your input. Please share your comments or questions on YouTube whilst we're live. So let's get this show on the road with the voice of Wallasey. Well, we were supposed to be going out with the TGF gazebo asking the wonderful people of Wallasey, what is Wallasey famous for? But thanks to the virus, we thought perhaps that wasn't a good idea. So we asked the question on social media, and thanks if you're one of the people who replied, because you gave us some great answers, and some of those we'll be using later in the show. But we also thought we'd try getting someone to come in and talk to us remotely on their phone. And this is what happened. So now a big welcome for Jan and Sean.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Hi, both of you. Right, Jan, a question for you. What's Wallasey famous for?
Well, I think in the early days, Wallasey was very famous for the Beatles. I think a lot of people remember the Beatles, but what they didn't know is they hosted some of their early gigs in the Grosvenor Ballroom in Wallasey, which is just a short walk from where I live.
Great stuff. Yeah. Anything else, Jan?
Yeah, and also we have a very famous ferry terminal, and one of the ports is in Seacombe, which is literally a stone's throw away. And their first hovercraft operated from there in 1962.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And that is interesting.
Yeah. Great stuff. Thanks so much for that, Jan and Sean. Great to see you. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Did they do well?
They did. And I've got another fact for you. Something else that Wallasey was famous for was wreckers. Did you know in the 19th century, the wrecking of shipping was widespread in Wallasey? And people would put up false lights to entice ships too close to the shore so that they would run aground and then steal the cargo. In fact, a local saying was, Wallasey for wreckers, Poulton for trees, Liscard for honest men, and Seacombe for thieves.
Ooh.
I don't think Seacombe would be too pleased to be known for that.
Probably not. I live in Liscard, so I'm happy enough with honest men or women.
And Poulton, lots of trees?
Don't think so. Not any longer.
Not any longer.
Yeah. Well, now we have some amazing guests on our show tonight. Their names are Pat and Shelly, and they're known as community connectors. And they're part of an organisation called Involve Northwest, and they do a fabulous job of being there for all life's ups and downs. And they're here to tell us about some of the highlights of their work. So hello to Pat and Shelly.
Hi, Elaine.
Hi, great to have you here. So question to Shelly first. What are the issues that you face with your role?
Right. Well, since March 2020 and the pandemic, a lot of the issues seems to be around mental health and food poverty. So what we've been doing is working with various partners, which there are too many to mention, within the community of Wirral, delivering food parcels and just ensuring that people are okay with their mental health.
That's important, isn't it? Yeah. And so how has COVID affected your work?
Well, we used to be out 80% of the time, knocking on doors and doing home visits, meeting people in the community face to face. But obviously, with the restrictions in place and to ensure people are safe and the staff are safe as well, we're unable to do that. However, we are still out and about in the community, and our hub is open, but it's only open to staff 9 to 5. We are taking referrals, and we are assisting the community.
That's fantastic, thanks. So can I ask a question of Pat now? So Pat, how do you think COVID's affected the community?
Well, if you go back to March, it had a massive impact on the community, because you're thinking about, people weren't used to the lockdown and the pandemic in general. There's a little bit of kind of tension out there and fear created. And obviously, people were shielded. And so, as Shelly says, there was a lot to do with food poverty in them days. However, Wirral was brilliant because there was like a collaborative approach from the council and other partners, and churches were involved, and some of those local community associations, particularly with social supermarkets being available to people, and some people were being assisted with shopping deliveries. There was the creation of the Wirral Info Bank. In terms of us at Involve Northwest, we were still operating on the telephone, signposting people, working in partnership with other agencies and organisations. But generally, I think there was fear initially, but then I think people started coming together and supporting each other.
That was great to see, wasn't it? Yeah. And so, so Pat, how can our viewers then either help with community connectors or get involved?
Okay, one of the key things we like to do, especially when we're knocking on doors, is to talk to people about the Good Neighbour scheme. It's a partnership approach. And really, it's just a symbol of community engagement and community spirit. So it's a little message really to people, basically saying, look out for your neighbour, say hello, try and support each other. And it's like a philosophy in line with the Spare 5 scheme that's out there, which is take 5 minutes out of your day and talk to community members and get involved in your neighbourhood and be engaged, and spread the good news basically. So people can do that. They can also self-refer themselves to our organisation. We're still out there. We're on the other end of the telephone. We're signposting people, or agencies and organisations can refer people in to us. So generally, and obviously we are linking in with some of the organisations and supporting them. Generally,
Lovely.
Just, as the norm.
Lovely. Thanks so much for that, both of you, Pat and Shelly. It's been great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Cheers.
Thank you.
Doing a great job there.
They
I love that idea of sort of helping out your neighbour for a few minutes each day.
Makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Quick chat, telephone
Yeah,
call.
a little bit of help in the community. That's great stuff. Well, we're building links to organisations here in Wallasey that can offer support to people. So check out our website for links to our community connectors and other local organisations on wallaseyunleashed.org.uk.
And now for something completely different. We have a story of intrigue and passion from Wallasey's past.
Let me tell you a story of love, betrayal, jealousy and murder. I'm standing in Vale Park, named after Vale House. Vale House was lived in by Edgar Holland, and Edgar Holland lived here in this region about a century ago. He's a wealthy man, very wealthy in fact. He had shares in a couple of gold mining firms. He made a lot of money. He was influential in the area. He lived in a different big house here after he'd grown up and set up his businesses, but he stayed in the area of Wallasey. Now, Edgar Holland used to take gold and put it in a safe place to keep. And one such example as this, which has become known as Holland's gold, was a crate of about 10 ingots of gold that he's buried somewhere, maybe somewhere right round here or maybe somewhere else in Wallasey. Now this crate may be the treasure that Holland promised to Catherine Kemshall. We don't know. But let me tell you the interesting part of the story, the intriguing part of the story, the violent part of the story, the denouement of this tale. Catherine Kemshall one day came to Edgar Holland's offices, and she walked in to see him, dressed all in black as though she'd come to a funeral. Edgar had his solicitor there with him, and she walked up to Edgar, and demanded that he paid her, make good on his promise of paying her, because he had not got married to her and had broken his promise. He said no such thing. He said, "I did not betray you. I have not broken my promise. I don't owe you anything." At that point, Catherine Kemshall was enraged, and she took from the folds of her black dress of mourning a small revolver, and she shot 3 times, and it hit Edgar once in the leg, once in the lungs, and once up in the shoulder area. He started to bleed, and he was a very fit man, very healthy, but he succumbed to his injuries some time later. It was the bullet through the lungs that did it. He died of pneumonia a few days later. But as he stood there in front of her, the solicitor leapt to his feet. He grabbed the revolver from her hand and threw it down. It turned out she had a knife in her other hand, so he pinned her arms back and held her until the police came. As he was doing this, Edgar leant forward to her and said something. We still don't know what it was. She was found guilty of the murder, but there was a petition launched against her. People went out and found people to sign up. 700 people signed up almost immediately to a petition to get her let off from being hanged, to stop her from being hanged. Now, this petition was taken to the relevant authorities, and eventually she was let off being hanged. The jury had found her guilty. She was found guilty, and she was sent to a lunatic asylum, but she wasn't hanged. And she lived a long time afterwards, but at no point did she ever tell anyone where the gold was buried.
Wow.
Wow.
What an intriguing story.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing murder story as well. Yeah. I think we're going to be finding out a bit more about that later.
I think so. Keep tuned for that.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Well, I've got another interesting fact. I don't know if it's as interesting as Pete's, but here goes anyway. The first shot of World War I, did you know, was fired from Wallasey. It was shot from one of the guns on our very own Fort Perch Rock in New Brighton as a warning across the bow of a Norwegian vessel, just 30 minutes after war had been declared.
Oh. Did you also know that New Brighton Tower was the tallest building in Britain when it opened? That was sometime between 1898 and 1900, and it stood 567 feet tall. It was neglected during the First World War and was eventually dismantled in 1919, and the metal was sold for scrap. But it's now time for the very first episode of TGIF Tales. It's a behind-the-scenes look at a Zoom call about Positive Pete's film about the Holland murder that we just saw. And I think you'll agree, this is the most superbly acted drama you have ever seen. Okay, we're all here. And what are you doing, Alex?
Oh, nothing. Don't worry, Angel. It's fine. They can hear you. Crack on.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Fine. Good, thanks. Busy with training the cat to climb better.
Oh, okay. Well, Pete's here now, and we need to discuss with him about the film he made about the murder.
Yes, I didn't get what happened exactly. There weren't many details.
What's that background of yours, Jenny?
It's virtual. It's not real.
I can see it's a green screen, but what is it?
Oh, it was from my holiday last year, climbing up Kilimanjaro with the dog. I'm going back next year and taking the cat.
I don't know why we have drama and fiction, Jenny. Your life is far more
Exciting.
weird.
Well, I think it's a nice idea. What's happened to Pete? He seems to be here, but we can't see him.
Yep. Oh, right. Okay. I couldn't get the webcam to work. Right. Right. I'm here now. So, how are you all? How are things going?
Yeah,
Right.
we're fine. Yeah.
Good.
We want to talk to you about the film you made.
Oh, yeah. What did you think?
Well, it was good, but maybe we needed a few more details.
Okay. Well, what did you want to know? I've got the details here. I can always add it in. I could redo it later.
Well, I think it would have been better to say exactly when it happened. When did it happen exactly?
Oh, right. Well, the murder was in 1896. Edgar Holland was 49 when he died. Now, Catherine Kemshall, she was 32. She died of old age at the age of 88 in that lunatic asylum. That was 1953. So that's the sort of time span. That's when it happened, yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, I thought the interesting bit was about the petition, all the women getting together.
Yeah, that petition I talked about, the 700 people on the petition, that was just going through the streets of Liverpool and asking people to sign. But later they sent out a petition. They got over 17,000 signatures on the petition, including members of Holland's own family. So obviously struck a nerve there. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
So,
Yeah.
So was the petition to save her from being hanged?
Yeah. The Home Secretary would have seen it. It's strange, isn't it, that she stated at the conclusion of the trial that she didn't want a reprieve. I've got it here. She said to the jury, "I would much rather you sentence me to death. I do not want a reprieve. I do not want my life." Seems the Home Secretary didn't get that.
So who stopped her from being hanged then?
Oh, that was the Home Secretary. He saw the petition, and then it's called commuted the sentence. He changed it to life imprisonment in Broadmoor Criminal Lunatic Asylum.
Right.
Yeah. It's tragic, isn't it? Really?
Poor
Yeah.
girl.
It's a very sad story. I mean,
Oh dear.
it's just the sad bit of it. Yeah, you can't
So, what are you guys talking
can't really
about?
believe it.
What?
Well,
You're asking the wrong questions.
Well, you ask him a question then.
Okay. So, I hear that there's some gold mentioned here, Pete.
Maybe.
Any idea of where it may have been located?
No, not at all. I mean, really, there's no point looking. I've no idea, and no one's any idea where it might be buried. There's no point looking at all. Hang on a sec. I've got a dash. Oh.
I think I'll get the car.
I'll get the coats.
hang on. Wait for me. Can I bring the cat?
Well, as I think I was right in saying, Jen, Oscar-winning acting there.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant performance by everybody there.
Yeah.
But you'll have to tune in next week for the next thrilling instalment, of course.
Yeah.
So, back to another interesting fact about Wallasey. Did you know in the early 1900s, Wallasey was famous for its tasty tomatoes? And there are two reasons given. Number one, because of proximity to the sea. they absorb salt water, which makes them more tasty. And number 2, there was pig's blood added to the fertiliser.
Ooh, I'm not sure I like the sound of that.
No,
No,
not too
but
nice about that.
Yeah, I suppose
Pig's
if you don't
blood,
know
is
about it,
no.
that's okay. And another thing, Wallasey had some very interesting shops at that time. Take a look at this. From 1917 for a shop in Seacombe selling, amongst other things, old false teeth. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I'll be buying them very soon.
Yeah, I don't particularly fancy that. Yeah, I'm not sure they do a roaring trade now, would they? So now it's the moment you've been waiting for. It's our prestigious Pet of the Week.
But before we get into that, I did an interview with Steve Joyner, a key fundraiser with Wallasey Guide Dogs for the Blind Association. And I did that a couple of months back. And I think probably most of you are aware that Guide Dogs for the Blind Association originated right here in Wallasey. Hi Steve, it's really good to see you.
It's my pleasure.
So when did you get involved with Wallasey Guide Dogs for the Blind?
Well, I started to lose my sight in my mid-50s, late 50s. And when I got medically retired from my employment, I decided I needed a guide dog other than the white cane that I was using. And once I'd qualified with my dog, I actually met another guide dog owner on the Wirral, and they introduced me on to the Wallasey group. But I've only been active as a committee member and helping with the fundraising for about 4 years now.
So not that long then. I think I'm right in saying that there's no government funding for guide dogs and that you're totally dependent on charitable donations?
We're totally dependent on charitable funding. In fact, what's probably not known is that the government do not even recognise guide dogs as working dogs, and that guide dogs themselves still have to pay VAT on the food they supply. So it is entirely through voluntary contributions, but we do get a great deal through bequests also.
So I wonder if government funding for guide dogs will ever change. So what anyway is the cost of training a guide dog?
The initial training from when it's taken away from its mum, it's 8 weeks old, to 18 months of age when it's a fully trained dog, that period alone costs in excess of £10,000. But in its lifetime, a working dog costs £60,000.
Not cheap, but worth every penny. So what is the working life of a guide dog?
They usually retire at around the age of 10. So you're looking at getting 8 years or more of work out of the dog. But unfortunately, some dogs, like human beings, decide, well, I've had enough now. And her sister, for instance, retired at 5 because she decided she didn't want to be a guide dog anymore. But as a general rule, they work to the age of 10.
I see you have Jodie with you. Jodie's gorgeous. What's her breed?
Yeah, she's a retriever, a Labrador retriever cross. Jodie, sit. Good girl.
Is Jodie 7 or 8?
Jodie is 8.5. So she's got about, hopefully, another 2 years' work in her.
I see Jodie has a special red and white harness. What's that for?
Guide dogs usually wear the fluorescent yellow on their harness. But Jodie, as you can see, quite rightly, has got red and white checks on hers. That is because Jodie is a dual dog. Not only am I blind, I'm partially deaf. So the red and white check markings are to denote the fact that, as well as not seeing you, I may not hear you. But not a lot of people know that. And it's also, she also wears it for education purposes, so that I can inform more people. There are also guide dogs that wear the blue and white check, and they're usually seizure dogs and guide dogs.
She's a very special dog. Doubly talented, isn't she?
She's also a naughty dog sometimes.
Well, Steve, it's been lovely to talk to you and meet Jodie as well.
It's been my pleasure. It's been a pleasure, Jenny. Thank you.
Jodie was gorgeous.
Yeah, she's a lovely dog, isn't she?
Yeah, so friendly. So friendly that a really, really close connection and bond.
Yeah. Good to find out about guide dogs as well, and sort of, how much they cost and how long it takes and all that sort of thing.
I don't think people realise that.
Didn't realise there was so much in
they?
it. Yes,
I know.
Yeah. Great stuff.
So, I think this is the moment that probably you've all been waiting for, our pet of the week. Just to say that we had a lot of entrants, and thank you so much for sending your pictures in. If you send them in after 4 o'clock on the Friday, we're going to have to roll them back to the following week, just so that you know about that. But yes, we had amazing sets of pets, and this evening we're going to announce for this week our winner and our runner-up.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is Pippa, watching for Dad Trevor coming home. Oh, now look at this beautiful cat. This is Tigger, belongs to Trish Williamson's mum. Tigger's 20 years old. She's looking very good for her age, isn't she?
Yeah.
Adorable.
Lovely cat.
Oh, this is quite a sad story, actually. This is Ebony, submitted by Kathleen Wood for her niece Megan, and beautiful Ebony passed away earlier this week. So we just wanted to include her
a lovely dog
today. A lovely, lovely cream Labrador. And here we've got our 2 rabbits, Star and Floppy, submitted by Zoe G and O'Mahony. So as you can see, Star in the front there is very, very alert, whereas Floppy in the back apparently is only interested in food. Lovely pair of cuties.
Yeah.
And here we've got a whole family of cats.
Wow.
So on the top left, we've got Ronnie, who's the great grandma. And beside her, we've got Gingy, who is the grandma. Bottom left, we've got Gizmo, the tricolour, who's the mum. And then the little baby on the right-hand side is Oddbod.
Oh, lovely. They're all very different, aren't they, as well?
Yeah, they are. So that's nice. A whole family, whole generation, several generations there in the one home. Oh, look at this. This is Pumpkin the hamster. Beautiful
sweet.
Ears. So I'm a vet as well, and I can tell you I've never been able to get a hamster to sit that long in my hands still to take a photograph. So very, very impressed by Jan Gosling's little Pumpkin the hamster.
Yeah.
This is a great costume.
A very cool dog,
it,
this
Elaine?
one.
Yeah. This is Louis. Louis is aged 13 months.
Oh.
So, Diggo sunglasses.
He's got socks on.
Very, very trendy doggy.
Obviously.
And moving on to guinea pigs.
Oh.
So here we've got Oliver and Peanuts. Not quite sure what they're looking at.
It's a game, isn't it? Connect or something, or word
playing
game.
a game, yeah. Gosh, very, very intelligent, obviously. And more guinea pigs.
Yes.
We've got 3 here. So we've got Fudge, Ginge, and Alvin.
Oh. They're lovely, aren't they? They're very sweet.
They've lots of little ramps and tunnels to play in, haven't they? Another cat. So this is Pebs. Another elderly cat. Pebs is 16, would you believe it? So
very
Pebs,
content there.
She is. She's enjoying the sun, isn't she? Oh, and this is a very active doggy. This is Daisy. Daisy's been submitted by Shirley Bowen. Isn't she nice?
Oh,
Down
she's
at the
lovely.
beach.
So she is. She looks like she's battling the weather there.
Yeah. And we've got our final two here. Well, this is actually Daisy again.
Okay.
But you can see just in front of Daisy, she's playing with her friend Blossom the rabbit.
Oh, lovely.
So quite a selection there. It's really, really hard.
Yeah, gosh, spoilt for choice.
Really,
That's a very hard
really
decision,
difficult.
Jenny. Yeah.
So, who am I going to go for?
Very hard.
Very difficult. Well, I think I'm going to announce the winner of this week. It's going to be Pumpkin the hamster.
Oh. Yes, I mean, it's a very, very cute hamster there.
Very
lovely markings
beautiful.
as well.
Yeah, lovely markings.
I love the tiny little claws.
I know.
They're so sweet.
Beautiful poise. Gorgeous.
Definitely, like a model, really. Yeah. Good choice.
I think she's lovely. She's lovely. But we're also going to be very generous, and we're going to have the runner-up, as I said. So that's going to go to Crystal.
Oh, now Crystal just looks like she's made for that chair, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Very chilled, very laid back.
She's very chilled out, isn't she?
Very sweet. Oh, lovely. So remind us, Jen, what happens with the pets? There's a runner-up and a winner each week.
Yep, there's going to be a runner and winner-up, and then they all go through to the Grand Championship.
That's right.
And then on Christmas Day, we announce the overall winner, and the overall winner will get a £25 voucher for Pets at Home.
Oh, lovely.
But also, if you're disappointed this week that you didn't win a prize, you can submit a photo of your pet again, and you never know, you might be lucky this time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, that was lovely. I'm just thinking really about all these great things we've been seeing and talking and hearing about Wallasey. And it just made me think I'm really thankful for where we live, you know, for the community, the people and the coast and all of that. And I think even in these difficult times, I just thank God for all those things that I do have and the place that we live. So, you know, what are you thankful for, Jen?
I think at the moment I'm very thankful for social media, actually, because can you imagine what lockdown would have been like in times before we had social media?
No, absolutely.
You know? So
it's
a really good way to keep in touch with our friends and our communities. And actually, you know, we've got a lot of activities as well on Wallasey Unleashed website. So, you know, those are the sorts of things people can link in and get involved with as well.
Yeah.
But I think really hard times, but it just makes you really appreciate what we had before.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so you appreciate the simple things in life more, don't you? And and actually the fact that we've got technology to try and connect with each other, I just think is fantastic, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
So in this lockdown phase, I wonder, you know, you, our viewers, what have you found to be really, really thankful for? So if you want to send in some comments to us, we'd be really, really pleased to see them.
Yeah, we would. And for next week's question for the Voice of Wallasey is, what do you love about our town? So in the spirit of trying to keep people safe, we're not going to go out with the gazebo for season 1 of TGIF. However, if you want to tell us what you love about our fantastic town, let us know on Messenger or social media, and we'll connect you to the studio to pre-record your answer for next week's show. A little bit like Jan did.
Great. So to play us out this week, we have the incredibly talented Jim Bazley. And the song he's going to play for us actually has never been released. So it's yet to be named. And Jim has asked us to ask you for suggestions for a song title. So again, let us know on Messenger and social media after you've heard the song. And we also have another very talented guy next week to play us out. But for weeks 3 and 4, we want musicians from Wallasey. So if you think you're up to the job, get in touch ASAP. So take care, Stay safe, and we'll see you next week. So here's Jim Bazley.